Ganda ng mga girls.
Hi!
Ganda naman.
Oh my God! Hello! Yung PLDT capital ka?
Small. Kasi yung PLDT
Hello! Hello! Ano na?
Kamusta?
Hello. Talaga.
Thank you so much.
Hello!
How are you doing?
Hi, Batains!
Hello. Beanie Beanie.
Of course.
Basta.
How was your angkas ride last night?
It was crazy. I'm cast during the storm. Like I was on the Angkas and it started raining. Yeah. Thank you. Dude, I was in a cab. I was like, God bless it. Maybe downstairs. No, there's oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay, there's three anyway. I make this.
Hyper.
Guys, we have we only have 15 minutes for the interview.
So
we should
Please
start
don't
pronto.
These questions and answers are brought to you by, what is that, fiber optic?
PLDT home fiber.
PLDT home fiber.
The answers to these questions will be broadcasted around the world.
Ilalay mo?
Oo.
Made possible
Live
by
on Sash
PLDT.
Factor, Norman, Mississology, and OPND.
Thank you guys so much for coming out
Thank
today.
you for having
We
us.
appreciate it.
Okay,
Can we
guys.
start? Okay.
Okay, ladies, what is your message to the newly elected legislature?
Wow.
See, you are
And any one of them. No particular person.
Wait. No, don't ask about politics
I
now.
want to learn about politics.
Okay.
All right. Sige.
Norman.
Okay.
Take one.
Oh.
Take one.
All right.
Hi,
So we
Pat.
have here Patch, Julia, and Samantha.
Hi,
So my first question is, how has your Binibining Pilipinas 2019 experience so far? Has it met your expectations before you signed up for the national pageant? Lahat kayo first national pageant ito eh. How has it been so far?
Let's go first.
Oh. Yeah, Patch, go.
Let's go like this.
Let's start with the Juris Doctor.
Oh my god, thank you. Well,
Oo.
well, it has been nothing like I've ever experienced before because I'm so used to being in academics, just studying, and now suddenly I'm placed on the stage in front of the public. So I can say that this has been a huge experience that has made me grow as a person because everything that I developed as I was studying, that's I think this is a completely different thing. So now I'm developing like charisma and personality, which you don't really need when you're studying. So I really grew as a person, and of course it's met my expectations. I think Binibini has changed so much from the stories of other girls. I think it's more, well, we have progressed in terms of the sashes and in terms of the lower heels, and it's really all about women empowerment now and being more than just beauty queens and faces and bodies, but now we're voices and minds with ideas that we can put front to the people and influence other people.
Julia?
Yeah, I think it's been amazing so far. I think some of you may know this, but I have a background in martial arts, and so literally right before this, I was living in this Chinese military school where I was training for 8 hours a day. So I'd wake up at 5, and then I'd have 4 hours of training in the morning, and then a lunch break, and then 4 hours in the afternoon. And in many ways, that training was very different to this. You know, I was sweating all day. It was very physically intense, but in other ways, it's so similar to what's required of us as Binibinis. I think that the strength, the emotional endurance, the discipline, and the focus is very much the same. And so in that way, it's a different kind of Binibini training, but very similar in scope, I think. And in terms of my experience so far, that's definitely helped me have the discipline and focus. Today, for example, we got up at 4 a.m. for 7 a.m. call time. So I think many people think that, you know, as Binibinis, we're quite static or we're just a face, but it really does require a lot of focus and discipline and physical and emotional endurance, which I think is very important. And in terms of my journey so far, I've loved it because I've really sought out this Bini Bini experience to have a platform to share my learnings and to elevate Filipinos and to inspire people with my story and my vision for our country. And it's just been incredible that the shift has been from, maybe something that was seen as more superficial to something that's really going beyond beauty. And I think that it's been an incredible celebration of Filipino culture. I think the NACOS reveal was just an example of that. And it's been amazing to just be a part of this celebration of Filipino culture and what it means to be a Filipino woman, which I think is incredible.
It was such like a nice ending. I'm sorry, I get like emotional. So, like Julia and Patch, of course we've all been training, we've all been getting ready for like over a year already, and I've had this formula of workout, read, sleep, repeat, because I felt like I was going to like this pageant war. But when I got here, actually it was quite the opposite. I feel softer now. I feel like a woman now because
you're enjoying it.
I really am enjoying it. Like, it's completely the opposite of what I expected. Especially the women empowerment thing. That's what I keep reminding myself and telling myself every day is I feel so empowered because I've learned new things. I've learned how to do makeup. I learned how to do hair this morning. Thank you, Nicole Guerrero. I've learned how to communicate and socialize better. I've done 3 other competitions before this, and what people have been saying is that I can be maarte, or I'm just not social, I'm kept to myself, and it's very off-putting. But in reality, I'm just a very shy person. I get social anxiety sometimes. But these girls have really brought out like all of the best in me. It's like, Sam, there's nothing to be afraid of. And these girls just want to get to know you, and I want to get to know them, obviously. So just come out of the corner and talk to them. And it's been really great. I've enjoyed every minute of it. And this pageant is just completely different from what I was expecting. There's a lot of celebration for women. There's a lot of celebration for the Filipino culture. A lot of the tours we've been doing have been very historical and educational, and I really appreciate that they've been educating us throughout the whole journey.
Okay. Patch,
What do you okay? Sige.
Patch, which is more difficult? Taking the bar exam or going through this pageant?
Personally,
Yes.
no disrespect to my fellow comrades in the legal
Yes.
profession, but personally, I would have to say pageantry is more difficult than my law studies, simply because in law, there is a clear-cut formula to success. You study hard, you do well, you get good grades. That's it. It's that simple. You put in the work and you get good grades. And in pageantry, you can say that it is similar. You work hard and then you succeed. But then it's more than just reading and learning. You have to know how to deal with people. You need to know how to carry yourself. You need to know the right things to say, not just being smart, but speaking well. And Q&A is a completely different skill from being smart, because being smart, it doesn't matter if you can't translate it into those 3 concise, beautiful sentences. So there's a lot of things that you need to learn, different facets, different aspects. And I don't think that people realize that. People underestimate beauty queens as just being beautiful, but I'm sure the 3 of us, it's our first time, and we had to learn everything. We hit the ground running because
I dragged a little bit.
same. So yeah, completely no disrespect. Law studies are hard, but it's
different.
It's way different.
I think I want to add something to that because I'm actually simultaneously also doing my master's in China, so I fly back every month. And I think, we're all very educated. We've all pursued our studies to the maximum of our abilities. And I think what's really special about pageantry is we carry the weight of our country on our shoulders because that's how much we want it. And I think when you have that energy and passion for your country, and you have those values that are set so staunchly in your heart, then it becomes so important. And because there's so much weight and so much at stake, because we all love our country and we're all doing this because we're fighting for something, it becomes that much harder because of the pressure, because you want it so much.
I think it's also because it's like constantly changing on the go, and you have to adapt to a new environment within as fast as 5 minutes, to be honest.
Also, I think that something that people underestimate or don't really take into account is this is a very public-facing position. And we sign up for this because, I mean, yes, it is a competition, so there is a criteria, but when people talk about objectifying women, a lot of the objectification actually comes from the spectators who feel like they have the audacity to bash us, they have the audacity to criticize us, to make character judgments, when we're all here because we're fighting for something. We want to represent our country, and I think that something that people should consider more often is the fact that it is very public facing, and we're all trying our best, we're all human, and I think that people need to cut us some slack, because I think, it's easy, I think, when you're online to be crude or to be cruel because you're hiding behind a computer screen or you're hiding behind your phone, but I think there needs to be a little bit more compassion. And as beauty queens, obviously we have the clout, and we're in the position where we're on the receiving end of those criticisms. So I think it's important for us to take a stand and be strong about not condoning it, because it's important that we don't condone this kind of behavior.
Thank you.
Thank you. Long answer.
Well appreciated.
Okay, what do you look forward in the coming finals? I mean, expectation, and if you have any game plan in the remaining days of the competition.
Game plan? So it's supposed to be a surprise.
Which competition are you looking forward to? We've got like 3 of them right now.
Oh yeah.
So which one are you excited for?
You mean the drag show? Right?
Yeah, like drag, national costume, and well, we can't really say Parade of Beauties, but I'm excited to like get in a car and be like, hey, drive me away.
Okay. Since we're here in PLDT, how do you think a telecommunications company like PLDT can help play a big role in your candidacies here in Binibining Pilipinas?
Oh, it's super important. Like, there's always, if not like the minor competitions, then because we're always online saying, vote, like, share, and help these girls reach the highest numbers, and then there will be a winner announced. So PLDT connects everyone, not only nationally but globally, for our friends and family abroad. Because I know we all have friends and family just around the world, so telecommunications is incredibly important. Everyone needs it, not just for this, but just to live. Now, it's 2019, so it's a necessity.
Okay.
I think it's also really important to stress the opportunity here for growth for the Philippines. I think that now that everything's becoming so digital, and we have our phones at our behest, so I think that our telecommunications companies really need to take the lead, because when we have a digital ecosystem that really supports our economy, then that makes things more convenient, it makes things more accessible, and I think that because we are like the world's biggest digital consumers, we spend I think about 4 hours a day on our phones. There's real opportunity there. So I think that once we can sort of have spokeswomen who can speak to this opportunity and really point an attention to it, then the Philippines can become that much stronger.
I also like that it's an opportunity for the Filipino community all around the world to come together, because I had the pleasure of talking to pageant fans who are a bit older, and they're in the United States, they're in Dubai, they're in Australia, things like that, and they were telling me that a few years back, they did not have that experience of seeing the girls every single day, seeing their progress, and now they do. They are able to talk to the girls, they're able to give us advice as if they were here, and they can see everything that we're doing. And I can only imagine a few years back that they would only like maybe read in the newspaper who won already. So now I feel like it's a stronger Filipino community just because of the fact that we do have technology like this, and that's one of the things that people don't really think about when they say communication and technology, but there is an effect to our nationalism also.
Okay.
One final question.
Okay, go. One final question. Yes.
Sige.
Okay, one final question, girls. Personally, what does it mean for the three of you to win a good crown on June 9? How would you define a good crown, and what does it mean to win a good crown on June 9?
Okay, I'll go first. Okay. So for me, pageantry it just kind of fell on my lap in a way. I didn't come to the Philippines to pursue it. I came to be a nurse. So when it came to me, I just went with it, and now I'm so passionate about what I do, not because of the fame or, fame's nice, but at the end of the day, I love it. I love feeling empowered. I love gaining knowledge every day about this industry. I love meeting people like you guys. It's so nice to just connect with everybody. Winning a good crown, for me, not only does it mean to continue to promote my advocacy for education and literacy, but it's just being a voice. I've always had this just thing in my heart where I want to give, constantly give. I think that's why I wanted to be a nurse. And now with a good crown, I have the power to do that. I can give to the best of my abilities. It's like that question, what would you do if you won like $1 million? I honestly have everything that I want in life. I'm very content. I would just share the blessing with everybody. And that would make me the happiest, is when I can see other people be happy. That's what I would do. Thank you.
Julia?
That's a great question, because I think it speaks to our motivations for coming here and to what we want to achieve with this. And for me, I think I mentioned this on one of our interviews, but I've spent the last 6 years abroad, and it has really been such an incredible opportunity. I was studying on scholarship, and I traveled to almost 60 countries with my scholarships, which has been such an incredible gift. And I've really been able to understand what it means to be a Filipino in a globalized world. And I've witnessed firsthand how our local situation here in the Philippines is affected and shaped by, these global decision makers, these global actors, these global forces that we sometimes are not privy to actually witnessing or seeing firsthand. And I think the most poignant example of this was when I was working as a climate activist at the UN, and there were leaders who denied that climate change existed because of their own political agendas. And here in the Philippines, we don't have that privilege. Millions of Filipinos are displaced and dying every year because of extreme weather events due to climate change. And that to me just revealed and showed just how important it is to have people who are aware of these gaps, who are aware of how our local situation here in the Philippines is really shaped by these global forces. And this to me is a global position. It is not just about pursuing a dream. It is not just about representing our country, but it is about being a spokesperson and being able to point to these injustices, being able to point to how the balance of power is not tilted in our favor as Filipinos. And I think that when you have someone who's able to speak to this, when you have someone who loves her country so much because she believes in the power and the potential of her country and her people, then you can have someone who can really make a change. And to me, I'm a very directed person. I wasn't actually supposed to join this year. I was supposed to join next year because I wanted some training. I was supposed to finish my master's, but I just felt that after Cat 1 I have to come back because this is it. And so for me, I personally want the universe, and everyone of course has their own goals and their own desires, but I think for me it's about harnessing the power of the platform so I can create more opportunities and possibilities for Filipinos. And it's not just about creating opportunities here, but it's really creating opportunities around the world, because I think we can be globally competitive. I believe in it.
And back.
That was amazing. It was so wow. background mean for me? So a lot of people ask me, you're already a lawyer, why pursue pageantry? Like what's the point? What's the connect? Like why? And what people don't see, what I only saw in the beginning when I was starting this journey, is that lawyers and beauty queens aren't I'm sorry aren't all that different. A lawyer is an advocate for his client, an advocate for justice, and a beauty queen is the same. A beauty queen is a woman with influence, a woman with power, who can advocate for the causes that she believes in. And I was able to see, because when you're in law school, your track is just a law firm, or maybe the government, and then just climb the ranks and then hopefully fight for justice, or maybe if your clients are big companies, then that's a completely different thing. But I was able to see that there's so much opportunity to help other people when you have that influence. I had no idea that there was this kind of opportunity for beauty queens. Each of us, we have advocacies, and the past queens like Catriona has this amazing advocacy with children in Tondo, Manila, and this is something that isn't highlighted in beauty pageants, but it's one of the most significant effects and the most significant things that a queen does. So as a lawyer with my own interests, with my own advocacies, personally I want to be an advocate for the marginalized and those underrepresented sectors. And I also want to, it's a big dream, but I want to eradicate poverty in the Philippines. And what I'm seeing is that when you're a beauty queen, you have such a loud voice, you have such a wide audience, and I know that that will propel my cause even further than if I were just a lawyer.
Thank you. This is a battle of the words.
Photos muna dyan.
Ano ba semantics ito?
Tatlo kayo, tayo.
Oo, yes.
Yeah.
Ay, tayo kayo mas maganda pag nakastand kayo. Para hindi nakikita yung mga...
Okay, tayo muna.
No, I opened it.
Para sa akin,
I didn't want to like distract you from your answer. But
Because I was
Ito na kaya ang Miss Universe
One,
Philippines
two.
sa harapan natin?
Preview.
wait, sorry, I was.
Ano nga kaya? Ito na kaya ang top 3 sa final?
Yes.
To your
Here
left.
naman.
To your
left
left.
naman. To your left daw. 1, 2.
Ano kaya
Thank
kung
you so
magkaroon ng
much,
sudden
guys.
death?
Thank you.
Sasagutan sila.
Thank you, guys.
Here.
Godfest.
One more.
Here,
One
one
more
more.
here. 1, 2.
To your left. To your
To
left.
your left daw. 1, 2.
Here.
Center. O, center daw.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. See you in a bit.
Hi.
Thank you.
Oh my God! Save
How is the
the
food? Is it good?
Thank you so much.
Wanna try?
Thank you.
We have the same downstairs. We have the same downstairs.
Okay.
Hi.
Delicious.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Solo.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Good luck.
Thank you. Hi talaga.
Say hi to you. Solid.
Hi, Missology. Hello. First time ba
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sam, Dia.
This.
Oh, look who we have here.
Good morning.
Binibining Pilipinas
Picture
Cavite.
taking muna tayo before we start the
Ay, ganun
interview.
ba?
Oo, para ano.
Para fresh na fresh
Fresh.
talaga.
Here. Sir Nolly, ikaw.
Sige. Ikaw muna.
Okay.
Okay, here.
Nakatuwa yung first group, isang independent, dalawang aces. Ito, isang independent, dalawang KF.
May pa ganun.
Oh, may ganun pa.
Here.
May lang
You know, but syempre, hindi na recorded yun. Wala na yan.
Ikaw na lang nun.
Ay, kasi nakalive ako eh.
Ano lang naman yun eh.
Nakalive
To your
Nakalive
left. To
tayo.
your
To
left.
your left daw. 1, 2.
Isa pa.
Gaganda.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can sit down. You can sit down.
So guys, you have 15 minutes for the interview.
Kaya malipitin sila. Diyos ko, 10 minutes per answer.
Okay, so quick pala.
Haba ng
Ang haba.
Ako, let me start.
Go.
Guys, PLDT has done so many innovative things in making us connect us with our loved ones. So I was thinking, from your end, how do you think, what has been the most significant changes you've seen in the past 10 years?
Oh wow, that's a lot. Many to mention. Me first, or?
Off the top of your head.
Okay, I think what's the most important thing that innovation of the social media did to us is, or the PLDT, is to bring us closer together, each one of us. And like this, we are getting to know you, at the same time you are getting to know us more and deeply. And not just being beautiful, but also deeply.
For me, in the 10 years, I think it's really good communication, and also technology was also been able to help us connect with other people, most especially like me. I have aunts who are in the States, and personally I use PLDT, and it's really true with their tagline that it really works so well.
As for me, my mom is an OFW, so we communicate, of course, via social media and Skype and etc. So PLDT has given us a way to communicate. Like, despite the distance, we're still close as a family.
Ladies, what has been your greatest learning so far in your Binibining Pilipinas 2019 journey? I know that this is your second year, Sam, so greater unlearning sa'yo. Let's ask the other Sam, Samantha Poblete and Dia first. What has been your greatest learning so far in the entire journey?
What I learned the most is that I never regret joining Binibining Pilipinas, since my tagline is really to help others, and every day with the new learnings and everything else, I'm just really grateful that what my decision of joining is to help, that I am able to do that, to be a voice, and to also showcase my advocacies, which is to help especially the indigenous kids of Caraga.
Well, I learned more about myself. It's more of a self-discovery, self-journey that I was able to discover that I can do more for myself. Because being an independent candidate, it's hard communicating with other people and then managing my time and doing everything. Then, now that I'm doing it, I'm believing in myself more.
Samantha B, before you answer that question, what's the difference of Samantha B of 2018 to Samantha B of 2019 before you say your learnings or lessons?
I think I find my voice for a more meaningful mission. Last year, I joined Binibini for the experience and I want to win. But I don't know exactly who am I and what I'm gonna do after that. I'm just waiting for the universe to give it to me. And now, I work so hard for it because I know that I truly want it. I want to be more, I want to do more. And I know with or without the crown, everyone can do it, which is all Binibinis are doing. But with the crown, I think I can do more. And that's what I want, the authority to do more.
Okay. How important are the telecommunication company on and off the pageant, and how does it help in the realization of your advocacy?
As like what they say, social media is really a big impact, and also having this telecommunications, we are able to express ourselves more, that it's not only about beauty but also what we can offer. Like for me, I teach indigenous kids my sport. I am an athlete, I'm a badminton player, and through it I want to uplift poverty. And second also is women empowerment, because I want to lift up women who are told that they can't do it, because I have always been told that I cannot do it because of my weight or how I look. But here I am standing because I want to make a voice for others.
Well, in addition to what she said, people get to know us more kasi nakakapag-share kami ng kung ano yung nasa isip namin through social media. And yung telecommunication companies, diba, mas napapalawak nila yung reach namin. Halimbawa, ito, nakakausap namin kayo ng harapan, but for the other people around the Philippines, kasi diba, Filipinos, they listen to beauty queens. So, kapag we share our advocacies with them, parang napapaisip sila, ano ba yung kaya kong gawin? So, yun po, yung influence namin.
Yes, and above all, I think the world is in tip of our fingers. Because social media talaga is very powerful. And for my advocacy, I think that's the most important thing. We have already collected money aside from being just famous and using this platform, I want to maximize everything. In lieu of World Malaria Day last April 25, we've helped a victim of malaria, and also we're continuing selling t-shirts and also para din sa mga taong mga Batak tribe dun sa Palawan. And I think also Miss Universe Philippines have that 100K prize for us if ever we will win for the link. I think it's like a contest. So that's really great thing. So that's one of the most social media to us.
You guys are very accomplished women coming here in Binibini Pilipinas. Now I'm just curious, what did you guys give up in order to be here? Like sacrifices.
Like what you've said, we have already accomplished a lot of things. First things first is our work. We are here 3 months without work, and it's hard for us because we are not all, I mean, not really rich or privileged, but we have to work and sacrifice our time and our effort to do this. So I think the most important thing is also to love it and to pursue whatever you want to do in this journey. That's why for me, I want to maximize everything. So yeah.
Well,
Okay,
you
can go ahead.
Sorry. Actually, being in the spotlight, when you're a normal person, you can do whatever you want, post anything you want, just talk about things. But joining here in Binibini, you have to be careful with your words because everyone can hear them, and also you need to have a thick skin because you can't please everyone. You'll have bashers and fans, and so you need to have a thick skin.
For me, being away with family, because the 5 of us were really close to each other, and being away and sacrificing it so much for family to be here because of my main goal is also worth it actually. And second of all is my time, and also being able to be at home and to follow with my advocacy.
There's nothing to lose but so much to gain.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right?
It's gonna be worth it in the end.
Okay.
Guys, last 2 questions.
Samantha Poblete, I've always wanted to ask you this question. As one of the few independent candidates in the competition, what have you learned from being just a brave soul joining the national pageant compared to the others with the backings of so many people?
Like what I've said before, I learned so much more about myself. I'm so much more capable of what I've known before sa sarili ko. Because it's a surprise for me. This is my first national pageant, and I don't know many people, sa designers, ganyan, sa mga accessories and everything, and then you have to talk to them right now. I mean, sorry. It just feels so empowering, to be able to talk to a lot of people, like right now, diba? I'm sorry. Okay,
I knew it.
Last one.
Okay, if you will be given a chance to be crowned on June 9, as Miss Philippines, of course you'll be representing our country worldwide. So how would you like our country to be viewed by the global community?
Who's first?
I can start.
Okay.
I would really still be, as Philippines is known for its great, beautiful place. Not only that I can talk about tourism, about our food, how hospitable Filipinos are, but also I want to strengthen how the Philippines view Caraga, especially it's part of Mindanao, that it's really peaceful, and you get to really go to undiscovered places, and I hope people would visit our place more. It's to strengthen the tourism in Mindanao, most especially where I am from, Caraga.
We have almost the same answer. Coming from the beautiful island of Palawan, I think the sustainable tourism is, I want to be, the Philippines, I want to be remembered that. But at the same time also, I want the world to know that we will be malaria-free Philippines in the future. And I hope a world that would not suffer from this disease. Because malaria is preventable, curable, and since 1600, we already know how to solve this. But we have still malaria. And I think malaria must die, so millions can live. That's the tagline of World.
Well, I want the world to know that when Filipinos actually remind the world that when Filipinos unite, they can make a change, significant change, especially in our country right now. when people help each other to address the different problems in their communities, we are able to make a change and solve these problems in a large scale.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Ladies,
Thank you.
Are we looking at the winners?
Gagaling sumagot.
another photo?
Lovely, pretty,
Here.
captivating.
To your left. To your left.
Girl with
Now.
shorty
Thank you.
Kaninong ulo magkakasya ang corona?
To your right. Now.
Ang tanong ano corona?
Oo nga. Aling corona ang susuot nila? Alam ko kung anong corona ang gusto ng isa.
Nakamamatuloy ako.
Yung taga-Palawan, alam mo kung ano ang kanyang target.
Ano?
Magandang corona. Magandang corona.
Hi, Sasha. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Hi, Missology. I love it.
I am sandwiched with two Sams. Sam's weird.
Sam's
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Salamat po.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Salamat po.
Bye-bye po.
Have a great
Thank
day
you.
ahead.
Marami pa. Good luck. Malayo pa. Bye-bye.
Uy, picture ikaw solo, B.
Diba? Shine bright.
Hello.
Like a
Shine
diamond.
bright like diamond.
Diba? Ay, kasi ba?
Ay, alam na niya ngayon yung kanyang
Mga Bisaya.
Okay.
Karagnon. How do you call that? Karagnon? Karaganon.
Guys, that ends our mini press con with the
The
girls
six.
here in
Okay.
PLDT. I hope you guys have
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ano?
I hope you guys that ends our
We will
mini
have
press con for
Mixology,
PLDT.
Sash Factor, and
For today, I hope you guys
OPMB,
learned so much from
please
the
take your
girls as you
seats.
can see. No, just wait.
Tignan natin.
We will give you.
By the way, the girls that you guys saw earlier
OPMB
were
as Miss
randomly
Cebu.
handpicked
Dahil nakaabay as
it's
normal
themselves. So
Mixology.
we didn't pick the girls who got to see a while ago. So sige guys, yun na muna. Bye.